WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cans, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, big up everyone. Welcome back. 2 streams in 2 days. Welcome back to the match preview for Crystal Palace versus Ipswich at Portman Road. As always, I am joined here with the man himself, Mr. Statman Dan. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. Excited for tomorrow. I would get excited for the FA Cup draw tonight, but I'm busy on the day we were supposed to play on that Saturday. So, for my own selfish sake, I hope it's someone really boring, to be honest. But that's me being selfish. But yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. This is a bit of a jam-packed stream today, so we're going to try and keep it as close to an hour as possible. But I can almost guarantee that this is going to go over.
Yeah.
So, what we've got today is we've got a preview, but at the same time, we're going to try and cover the FA Cup draw. And then also, because we don't have time to do a tactical, we're going to try and fit a little bit of tactical within this stream. So it's going to be a bit of a mess. There's going to be a lot of stuff, but we're going to get into it. But Dan, the first thing that I want to ask you is this a must-win game?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you look at the table. Let's just get that table up that I've tried to not look at this season. Yeah, I mean, we're currently 17th, 9 points. Southampton, they're kind of being cut adrift at the moment on 5 points. Ipswich are on 9. Wolves are also on 9. And we are on 9 as well, only on goal difference. Thank you very much to, was it Bournemouth smashed them the other day? So thank you very much. And yeah, on the flip side though, if we do win this game, we could potentially climb up to 15th. Whoa! As Everton and Leicester are only 2 and 1 point ahead of us as things stand. So, you know, yeah, absolutely, it's a must-win game. I mean, realistically, I think like 75% of our games from now on are must-win games, really.
100%. We've already fallen behind the curve a little bit. You know, it was sort of, I think, 10 wins and you stay up. That's sort of how I look at it. 10 wins and you stay up, or a point a game and you stay up.
Yeah.
Granted, you're going to be down there the whole season, but you will stay up. It'll be a bit of a stressful season, but you will stay in the Premier League, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if we do win, then that'll be 12 points in 14, which is roughly along, what you're saying, about a point a game.
But what it does mean is that if we lose this game, we need to win 1 in every 3. And that doesn't matter who we play from now on until the end.
Yeah.
And that might not sound like the end of the world, but bearing in mind who we have and haven't played, that's not always going to be the easiest thing.
No, absolutely. I mean, we got to still play the Big Six again in the reverse fixtures,
and we
plus City, plus Arsenal in December. It's going to be tricky.
It's going to be a bit of a long. It's definitely a long season, but we're going to get through it.
And yeah. I mean, I was updating my my spreadsheets today as well, actually.
Ooh.
Just so I've got a spreadsheet that's got all the points that every position gets in every 38 game season. The average for 18th, the average is 35 points and the median is 35 points. So realistically, if you're getting above that, you're very good chance you'll stay up. So what's that? Another 26 points in the next 25 games. Yeah, point a game.
100%.
But that's bare minimum. That is bare minimum.
So, looking at the teams that came up into the Premier League, how impressed have you been with Ipswich this season? They recruited well, granted they spent a lot of money. They got a good manager in Kieran McKenna. How do you think they're going to get on this season? How do you think they've done so far?
It's an interesting one because I think obviously Ipswich were in League One 2 seasons ago. He got double promotion. I think McKenna is a good manager. I think he definitely kind of makes them more than the sum of their parts. I think because the thing is, you can look at it on one hand and say, okay, they're bottom of pretty much like every single statistic you can think of, or in the bottom two of every single statistic you can think of. But when you consider the players that they've got, I mean, they've got, don't get me wrong, they've got some decent players, but McKenna absolutely is making them more than some of their parts. And yeah, they've impressed me. Whether they'll be like Luton 2.0 is another question, but certainly they've been the most impressive of the three who have come up.
Definitely, I think your little hint of Luton, that sort of they remind me of Luton, but they've got a bit more quality behind them. That's what I would say. They play like Luton. They got the passion of Luton. They've got everything about them. It's just they've got that little bit more quality in their team. Is that enough quality to bring them through the season? We don't know yet. But I think that I've been quite impressed with what I've seen. And to be fair to them, they seem to be one of the first teams to, I wouldn't say walk the championship, but one of the first teams to play really expansive football in the championship and have a manager that's not so stubborn that he doesn't think that he needs to change his playing style when he goes into the Premier League. I think Kieran McKenna's seen it and said, you know what? Fulham have come up, they tried to play that football, gone straight back down. They've come up, tried to play the football, come straight back down. Burnley come up, tried to play amazing football, went straight back down. But he's sort of gone into the Premier League and he's sort of adapted a more defensive approach, which I think has actually benefited them because they are not conceding very much. Granted, they're not going forwards as much as they did in the Championship, but I think that by doing that, they're actually harder to beat and they're actually playing more like a Premier League team. So I think that you need to big him up because he's not stubborn or not so stubborn that he won't change his ways to suit the league.
No, absolutely.
The signs of a great manager, really.
Absolutely, and I think you can use even another team that's come up this season, Southampton. I think Southampton are going to be that team that will be relegated because the manager doesn't really want to adapt the play style, and as Southampton arguably got a better team on paper. So, yeah, I agree. I think McKenna's done a very good job, regardless of whether they go down or not, unless they start completely tanking. Like, I think he's going to get plaudits regardless of what happens.
100%. And also double promotion and doing well in the Premier League. Like, does it get much better from a manager?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even like they kind of like.
It wasn't luck either. It was
no, it wasn't.
Well
it wasn't luck. Wait, let me just get the League One table up. I mean, they came second in that league, so automatic promotion. Obviously, they got automatic promotion in the Championship as well. So it's not like they finished sixth on the last day or something, or kept their place on the last day like a certain team, and then went up via the playoffs. Yeah, it's not like that. They fully deserved second place in the Championship.
Mm-hmm. And I think they play really good football as well. Like, even though I said that he's adapted the playing style, it's still when they go forward, it's still very free flowing attacking football. Like, you'll see their players moving around all over the place. You'll see them making good chances against good teams. Like, I don't know how they didn't beat Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
They should have smashed them. It's just that they didn't finish their chances, unfortunately. But do you think they're going to be a threat against us in this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think at home as well. They're going to be a tough team to beat. I think they will give us some problems. I think they've given, in all the games I saw, they gave every team they played problems, although I didn't watch against like Liverpool and stuff like that. But all the other teams, they gave problems at points in the game, and I fully expect them to do it to us as well.
100%. I've just seen that the draw is just about to start. So before it starts, I think Crystal Palace are ball 12.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Let me go through some comments. Big up the dog. Mark
Big
my
up
words, we'll get a club that one of our loanees play for. Watch and remember. Big up chairman. Big up Callum.
Big up.
Time was a draw about now. Ball 12, BBC 2. Strap in. I hope we get someone good away.
Strap what? Oh.
Brother. Ugh. Yes, I did get the email. We will play it in a minute. We draw a lot of games, so I might as well get 8 wins away.
That is a good point. One thing I do want to say, sorry, just very, very, very quickly. We've only lost, well, I say only, we've lost 6 games this season, which is only 1 less than Spurs, who are 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And we've drawn 6. So
getting real Vieira vibes this season, drawing a lot of games, not taking our chances, but seems something's changed overnight. Just fall our way and with a little bit of a confidence lift. I don't think it reminds me of Vieira's season. I feel like we was dropping points, but I feel like by drawing we're gaining points this season, if that makes sense. Because last season we conceded late goals, but this season we're not really doing that. We're sort of the ones scoring the late goals. So I wouldn't say that at all. Yeah, number 12. Been thinking all day that we'll get a Prem side. I hope I am wrong. Me too. So obviously they're doing their chatting. So before we go into this, we have a Ipswich fan. He's not here today, but he has sent us a short little clip about his thoughts on the upcoming game against Crystal Palace. So let's listen to that and then we'll go into talk about the draw.
Good afternoon, it's Rich here. I run the Suffolk Crunch YouTube channel. Go check it out. Drop me a subscribe would be great. But yeah, just great that Rich has got me on to do a little video about the game tomorrow night. At Portman Road under the lights, Crystal Palace visiting town for the first time since 2013, back in the Championship. 3-0 victory for Town that night against promotion-chasing Palace. Aaron Cresswell, now of West Ham, scored an absolute screamer, I remember that night, and Frank Noble got 2, I think including one where he's nicked it off Julian Speroni. But yeah, Town at home, under the lights, big crowd, big game. And both teams really need to get a victory on the board, having only won once each in the opening 13 games, both against Spurs, funnily enough. But yeah, Town at home, 2 defeats, 4 draws, no wins. Palace on the road, 3 defeats, 3 draws, no wins. So it's going to be an interesting game. My expectations at the start of the season were just glad to be back in the Premier League for the first time in 22 years, but knowing it was going to be really, really tough. Obviously, we went back to back. We've made 12 signings in the summer. Obviously, Liam Delap, he's the one that most people are talking about at the minute with 6 goals so far in 13 games. But we've still got quite a few players that play with us in League One, and maybe our sub-bench at the minute is not as strong as some other teams that have probably been in the Premier League longer. So that's something we're probably going to look to address, I would have thought, in the January window, as well as signing another striker. But yeah, expectations, I would have took 17th place to start with. And my expectations haven't shifted since then. Obviously, at the minute, Southampton are bottom, and then there's 5 teams battling it out. And I'm really hoping as a Town fan that them teams stay in the mix for as long as possible, and hopefully throughout the season, because the more teams in the mix, the lower probably points total that you're going to need to get out of this, to stay in this division, not get out of it. We were doing that the last 2 years, but yeah, so it's going to prove difficult. But at the minute, we're sitting on 9 points with yourselves and Wolves, and then Leicester on 10, Everton on 11. So you could say this is the relegation 6-pointer, as they call it. But how can Town hurt Palace? I think by moving the ball quickly into wide areas. Obviously, Liam Delap being the main threat for Town, but Amari Hutchinson, be interesting to see if he plays in the 10 or wide on the right like he did at Forest on Saturday. But I think they're 2 big threats for Palace if you're looking coming into this game. Obviously, like I say, Delap, he's been talked about on lots of different shows and Match of the Day, and even Danny Murphy saying he's going to be the long-term successor to Harry Kane, which is interesting. I think Liam Delap is a really good player, and I think eventually he will probably leave Town. myself personally, I think we'll struggle to keep hold of him, whatever division we are in next season. If we get relegated, 100% he leaves, even if we stay in the Premier League. The Sharks are going to be circling. What do we need to do to stop Palace? Well, I think, look, Palace, obviously, Eze being the main man, I think if we can stop the ball getting to him, I think that would be a big part of our game plan. I'll be honest, not watched a lot of Palace, if I'm honest. I'm really surprised that they're struggling. Obviously, you lost Elise in the summer, and you probably haven't replaced him as well as you probably hoped that you were going to. So you obviously lost his goals and his assists, but you've still got some very good players. You're obviously suffering through injuries. Obviously, Adam Wharton, good player from Blackburn, hasn't played a lot for you this season. But I think it'll be a tough game. And I think you'd probably take a point more than we would. I think with the home games here, it's like I say, we've played 6 games at home and we haven't got a victory yet. And I think it's time now that we've got back-to-back games this week against Palace and against Bournemouth on Sunday. And if we're going to have ambitions of staying in this division, we're going to start having to put 3 points on the board. So saying that, looking at the form, I think it's going to be a really, really tight game, and it wouldn't surprise me if it ended in a stalemate. So I'm going to go Town 1, Palace 1, which would probably suit Palace a little bit more than Ipswich. But then Palace will probably look at it as a game that they can win themselves. But cheers for having me on. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Not too much luck, because hopefully we'll batter you out for that 17th or 16th place. But yeah, good luck, other than the 2 times that we play you. Cheers.
Cool. Well, that's Rich's thoughts. We have gone through quite a lot on the draw. I know that Millwall's already out. I know that Charlton's already out. Accrington Stanley's out. Dagenham and Redbridge is out. Exeter's out. So quite a few of the interesting ones are out. So the next one is Borough at home to Blackburn. Then we have number 1, who is Bournemouth versus
West Brom.
Oh, well, Nicky, you do it then.
All right. We got Mansfield versus Wigan Athletic. That's the latest one. I'm literally just following this on my phone. Tamworth. This was the big one, right? Non-league Tamworth are hosting Tottenham Hotspur. That is that is probably the result that they wanted most of all, because that will then assure them that their third round cup draw will be televised. That hopefully they get a result as well. Hull City have drawn Doncaster Rovers.
Can't wait to not see Malcolm playing that one.
Well, hey,
And Hull definitely will need
the
a result.
dog's going to be rattled.
Hull need a result there because their championship season has been terrible. Sunderland are facing Stoke. Funny that at one point that was a Premier League game. We've got another London team out. Leicester will host Queen's Park Rangers. So we are waiting a while for our draw.
Should we continue with the preview, and then we'll get Palace when it comes up?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. We've got Brentford versus Plymouth at the moment.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I think what Rich said wasn't far off, really, was it? I think we both agree about they have, I guess, a star player in Amari Hutchinson in a very similar place to where Michael Elise was. Maybe could Amari Hutchinson have been someone that we should have gone after in the summer? Do you think, Dan?
I mean, I think there would have been other targets I would have gone for first, but certainly he would have been an option. Obviously, we saw him play for the Chelsea under-21s, I believe, one time, and he was brilliant in that. He was the best player on the pitch, like, by far.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
And yeah, no, absolutely, he's done very well, and I wouldn't have minded him in our team. Like I said, there would have been other targets I would have gone for first, but I'd rather him than Kamada.
Yeah, I think so. But that's a good draw. Newcastle Bromley.
Newcastle Bromley. I was just
What?
that.
At
Newcastle.
James's.
St James's Park. Yeah.
That's a good result for them. Everton Peterborough at the moment out, and Wickham versus Portsmouth. Birmingham Lincoln. Yeah, this this is going to take ages.
We're
Would
going to
it be
be
the
last
team
out.
Yeah.
So Harrogate's in there, Stockport's in there, and those are the only ones that aren't Championship or Premier League.
I mean,
Lincoln maybe.
There's 64 clubs still in it at this stage, so
You can take Harrogate out. They've got Leeds away.
a nice local one for them then.
They're going to the Allen Road. Ooh, there go Forest. They're hosting Luton Town. Yeah, we are going to be last, aren't we? It would be the most Palace thing.
How many have they gone through already? So there's 32. There'll be 32 fixtures.
I haven't got the whole list in front of me. I'm just getting it like in a bit of a scroll format.
There's only 6 teams left in it.
Sheffield United will host Cardiff City. Ipswich will host Bristol Rovers.
So we've either got Fulham, Watford, or Stockport.
It's an interesting bag, that, isn't it?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
See.
Oh, we're going to get them again, aren't we? We are going to get the best draw possible out of that. Fulham are facing Watford. Meaning we are either away, we are at home to Stockport County, guys. There is the draw.
That's decent.
Okay, that's for my sake, that is a very good, boring draw. So thank you, football gods. Yeah, I think that's.
I was worried we were going to get like.
And now, and close that.
And actually, let's go back to Mr. What's it called? Diamond ball, glass ball? I don't know. Crystal ball. That's it. Whoa.
Teo Adaramola.
Do you have the lottery numbers, dog, by any chance?
I mean, Dan, I'm not going to lie to you. If we're going to talk about, the dog backing certain things, if he backs Malcolm, I ain't giving him none of my money. That's all I'm saying. All right, cool.
No, that's a good draw. Happy
decent. With that. Not amazing, not awful.
Well, it's just it's like when we've drawn Colchester, Grimsby. It's that kind of draw, isn't it? Really,
pretty much. Before we get into the tactics part of this, Nikki, is there anything you want to say about Ipswich? Like, how do you think they've done so far in the season? Do you think they'll stay up? Do you think McKenna's a good manager? Did they recruit well? How do you think they're playing so far?
I think I'll go in reverse order for your questions. I think their recruitment certainly got a lot of highlights across the summer window. I think they did recruit very, very well. Has it gelled or in their games so far? You could say yes, and you can say no. They have had results go their way, but they've gotten points on the board a lot quicker than most suspected or most would have hoped they would have gotten. I think Kieran McKenna is a good manager. How do I see this game going? I would say let's go for the win here, because we do need a win, and this is probably the best time to get it as we head into an extremely busy December. But as we just heard there, Ipswich haven't won a game at home. I wish Nate was here to say it, but there we go. Does it need saying at this point? It doesn't need. Yeah, I would take a draw, to be honest. I would, but I really want 3 points. I think we need to get 3 points because before Wharton comes back, let's already be in fine form. Let's get into that energized mood for this month and crack on because we have got some terrible games coming up.
Mm-hmm. When we were speaking with Tim and Patrick last night on the review, they were talking about how they felt like the Newcastle game last week was similar to the Leicester game of a few years ago. Do you feel the same? You feel like this game was the game we turned a corner, or not yet? Personally, I don't think we've turned a corner yet, but other people seem to think we have.
I think. Oh, that is a good question. I think the mood is definitely high because, a last-minute equaliser in the manner in which, everyone, it was limbs o'clock. You've got Glasner running halfway down the pitch to celebrate. I think everyone is getting sucked into that good mood, and, as we should be.
Pause.
Definite pause there. There we go. It remains to be seen of whether or not this potentially could be a turning point. It has the potential of being that point in the chapter of the story where it does turn from, I can't say that word, from something to silver. But this could be a banana skin. This could be the Tottenham result all over again, where it's just random point here, and then all of a sudden back to the status quo of what we've seen this season.
Yeah, because I still believe that after that Newcastle game, I feel like that goal paved over a lot of cracks. Because let's be real, we did have more shots statistically, but out of 16 shots, we only had a 1.3 xG, which means that every single shot we took wasn't of a very high chance, apart from Munoz.
I don't know. There was other chances as well, and to be fair, I kind of agreed with Tim as well. But what I think of it more in the sense of I don't necessarily think the performances has changed, but I think the mood changed, if that makes sense. So I still think that we still got the same deficiencies, absolutely. But I think, like Nicky was saying, it's a last minute winner. Glasner pulls his hamstring celebrating. Do you know what I mean? There's limbs everywhere. I think, people
he left his limbs on his celebration.
And, that picture would have been perfect if Schlupp weren't in it.
Let's hope Ali's not watching.
But, I think it's just the mood, isn't it? And I think any kind of little lift we can get, I'm going to take at the moment.
Yeah, you have to take every positive when they come along.
So Glasner was talking in his press conference earlier on today, and he did say that Eze is fit to start again. He did say that Adam Wharton is not too far out now. Chadi Riyad is in full training as well now. So
nice. That's
our
good.
team has started to come back together a little bit. So he said that he won't be in this game, but there's a higher possibility that Adam Wharton will be ready for this Manchester City game. Dan, do you think that one, obviously we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the tactics part of it, but one, do you think Eze starts again? And two, do you think that Glasner was saving Decore to start in this game?
I think he will play Eze again. I don't know if I would necessarily do that, but I think I saw on Twitter saying that apparently he said that he would start him or something, but I don't know if that was true or not. And in regards to Decore, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy was injured for ages, came back a little bit, got injured again. So I think they're just trying to ease him in a little bit. They're not gonna, and I think he will start. I don't think he'll play the whole game, but I think he'll start. And I think he was rested on Saturday for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Dan, are you ready to go into very brief tactical?
Yeah, it's just called Tact today.
Tact. Let's get into the predicted lineup. we're back. But as always, we talk about injuries. And to be fair, they've got a few. Ogbene out for the season. George Hurst out until early January. Calvin Phillips is potentially back. Ben Johnson is potentially back. Forgive me for this pronunciation, but Donaisen injured of an ankle injury, no return date, and probably the biggest one, Axel Transebe out, no return date whatsoever. So that is their right back. If you look at us, it's same thing. França, Wharton, Kamada's back next game. Chadi Riyad is back next game, and Rob Holding is chilling at the buffet. So here is my predicted 11. So in goal, gone Dean Henderson with Mitchell, Gay, Lacroix, Chalobah, and Munoz at the back. In the midfield, I've gone 3 in the middle. I've gone Czech Decore in that sole sitting number 6 midfielder with Will Hughes on the right and Justin Devaney on the left. Changing to a 2 up top with JP up top, followed by Ismail Assar. Exactly the same, or pretty much the same team we played against Aston Villa. Dan, what are you saying? You agreeing or disagreeing?
Yeah, I mean, besides, obviously if he puts Eze on, then obviously Eze for Devaney. But yeah, other than that, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Nikki?
Exactly the same as Dan. I think we are about to see Eze start again. So yeah, Devaney will be on the bench.
Cool. For Ipswich, because of their injuries, they do play a 4-2-3-1, but it's a very narrow formation because their wing backs are the ones that bring the width, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but depending on where the ball is, that is the place to pitch that they want to create an overload. So these players could be almost anywhere on this pitch. So if the ball's on the right-hand side, you'd see Hutchinson, Harry Clark, and maybe Smozic all over on that one side, leaving the other side a little bit bare, but still having an overload in that one area of the pitch. But very narrow forwards. I've gone with Muric in goal, with Davis, Burgess, O'Shea, and Clark, and Harry Clark at the back. I have got Ben Johnson, and I have got Jacob Greaves, and I have got Wes Byrne, who can all play in the defence. Wes Byrne potentially at right back because he has done that sort of right wing back role few times. Ben Johnson can play right back or left back if you need him, and Greaves could fill in for centre backs. Morsey, Kajust, and Smozic in the middle, with Smozic in the central 10. He has played out wide left, but from his time at Blackburn, his best position is definitely central 10. Jack Clark on the left, Roy Delap on the centre, and Amari Hutchison on the right. Dan, do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, the only thing I was bemused about, right, when I was looking at it earlier, I don't know why Jacob Greaves didn't start in the last game. Like, he wasn't even on the bench, but he wasn't injured. So I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. I just put him on the bench.
Yeah, no. I mean, as in, in their last game against Forest, he wasn't injured, but he also wasn't in the squad, which I thought was very strange. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but anyway. But besides that, yeah, that three behind Delap, it seems to rotate like every other game pretty much. It'd be very interesting to see what happens on their right-hand side, because from what I saw, McKenna normally likes to play Tuanzebe on the right back, and Ogbene in the where Hutchinson is now, so they can kind of swap around a little bit. But yeah, I don't know what Harry Clark's like, but yeah.
To be fair, he's like I guess a young player, a young fullback. But if McKenna likes that more centre back guy that can play that right back position, Jacob Greaves can play on that sort of wide right role, and I know that Ben Johnson has played right back before. We were going to buy him as a right back in the summer, so he could definitely play in that position. Cool. I'll see which one plays first, but I'm pretty sure this is the attack, so let's do that. That's the wrong one. So, how do Ipswich attack? I already alluded to it a little bit earlier, but let me cook. Let me get a ball. Because we always forget this. So. In this example, let's say that Hutchinson has the ball. Let's move everyone about a little bit. Bang, bang. Cool. Let's say Hutchinson has the ball. He's in this sort of situation. He's just got a nice pass into his feet from Smozic here. What happens? And they will overload different sides of the pitch. So all three of these guys, Clark, Smozic, Hutchinson, in other games, I think you got Chaplin in there as well. But this is where they would start the game. But don't be surprised if you see the front three looking like this. The front three looking like this. Because these three rotate like no one's business. They just pick up a space, exploit that space, and then they expect their teammate to pick up another space. The reason why I haven't moved a lap, this guy will only run this channel straight through the middle. He will never go wider than that 6-yard box because he wants to be the guy in front of goal. He wants to score the goals and he wants to create chances for his wide players to then kick the ball back inside for him. So let's say in this scenario, Smozic has just gotten a pass from Clark here. So Clark's run up with the ball a bit. He's gotten a pass in there. Devaney's tried to close it down, but he's taken the ball and he's turned. What will happen here is they will overload this side of the pitch. So what will happen is as he turns, you will see Jack Clark running close to give an option. You'll see Harry Clark trying to make a run. You'll see Delap either try and pick up this half space or this half space. So he either looks to swoop his run in here like that or to swoop his run out here like that. And then also you'll see Hutchinson pressing the back line in the other half space, which Delap is not going for. So Delap normally goes for the one closer to the ball, and Hutchinson will pick up the one behind the centre-back that he's running in between. So he'll run that channel and he'll run that channel. So all of a sudden, just by moving a few players around, they want to overload this part of the pitch. Here you can see it's a 3-on-2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4-on-2 then. They want to try and give themselves as many passing options as possible, and they're a very good passing team. So you could very well see him pop the ball to Delap. It goes straight back. Ball comes in here. He makes a run. That ball gets played in here, and then he's in front of goal to shoot. And even then, Hutchinson will make himself an option, so he could pass the ball across and then shoot. So they're very, very free-flowing. They're not very selfish of an attacking team, but they are a team that they shoot a lot, but their conversion rate isn't actually the best. Because if you look at the last game, there was an absolutely golden chance for Delap, and he hit it straight out of Onana. It is a great save from Onana, but he should be scoring that. Any player in the Premier League should be scoring that. If Schlupp was in that position, I would expect him to score that. That's how good of a chance I would say that is. How do they want to attack? They want to play against someone that has a high line because they like running in behind. Very much like it. But what they also like is they have, I guess, sort of two ways of attacking. They have one where they go over the top. They've got very good passes of the ball. O'Shea is a good passer. Jacob Greaves is unbelievable with his long passing. But so obviously runs in behind for the long passes. They've got that. But the other thing that I think is quite well rehearsed in their team is that they can take advantage of other playing styles as well. So if a team will notice that they like to run in behind and they drop back a little bit, they have so much fun picking up the pockets. this space in between the centre backs and the midfielders, this is where this three absolutely shines. Because the amount of times that I've seen them score goals this season with seriously one pass in to the pocket, they take a touch to step themselves, and they will shoot. They want to give themselves enough time to pick up the ball, turn, and have a shot. They won't try and do anything fancy. They just want to get shots off, and it's very effective. They shoot a lot. Granted, it might not be the best scenarios, but they'll score a goal like what Hutchinson did the other day. They will score lots of goals just because they're getting a lot of shots down range. And by picking up these pockets, if they've got a bit more composure about them, they could then pick another pass inside to someone pressing the back line, like Delap. He can make a run inside here. Because he's got space in the middle, and because we do zonal marking, if you've got space here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they don't know who's the guy that should step out. It should be Chalobah in this specific scenario, but maybe they could, they could take advantage of how we defend in that case in this scenario. I know time's getting on, so I'll run through this a little bit quicker. Delap stays very central, very strong ball carrier, so Clark can run with the ball. Delap is actually very underrated. He can run with the ball. Smozic, Hutchinson, Davis. I think someone who's really underrated is Wes Byrne. Great play. He comes on late into the game for the fullback, and then they sort of play like a three at the back, and then he's sort of like a winger, which is quite cool as well. Pick up the pockets. Extremely, very direct, I would say. And very much like Luton. How would we defend against them? I think we have to be aggressive. I think we have to make it so that if they pick up the ball in this situation in the pocket, the centre back has to press them, has to move out towards them. It has to, because if you give them time on the ball in that situation, any team, you want to shut it down quick. And because Hutchison is very good at dribbling, Smozic very good at dribbling, Clark very good at dribbling, if you commit out, they could very well skip past you, but that's where you need to cover each other very well. So you need to defend very, very well in this game. Protect and occupy the central spaces to get in the way of the lap. Very aggressive. That's about it, really. Try and take up the central spaces. That's really the main thing I would say, because the amount of passes that they want to aim for the lap is amazing. They're always trying to look for him, trying to find him, and to be fair to him, as a striker, it's his first time in the Premier League, he's quite good. So yeah, that is the attack. Dan, anything else how they attack, apart from their free-flowing, good passing attacking football?
No, yeah, that sounds about right. They seem pretty dangerous on the counter as well, from what I saw, which makes sense given you like Clark, Hutchinson, Delap, etc.
I'll tell you what, Smozic is extremely quick. I didn't actually realize how quick he was.
Okay. Him versus Lacroix. You'd back Smozic? Is he that? Because I didn't realize he's that quick either.
No. Against Lacroix, no.
Oh, okay, all right. Fair.
Against Chalobah, I think I think he's burning him.
Yeah.
Nikki, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, no. I think you got it spot on, especially with their play on the right flank. They look to overlap. They look to overload with players. Yeah, I think that was pretty spot on. That's how they've really played this season in large.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's do the defense.
Right, so their defense. So I clicked on the wrong one then. So what can we say? So they've got the second highest expected goals conceded this season. However, they only rank 11th when it's at home. So they're actually okay. One stat I'm going to save until, a couple of stats I'm going to save until the end. They concede the 5th most shots per 90. They have the third lowest possession of the league so far. and some of the other ones I'll come back to. So first, I'll just talk about what they'll do when they press, and then I'll talk about them at the back. Okay. So when they press, they will do something like this. So let's put our players over here like we try to do, etc., etc. Something like this. So let's say Henderson's got the ball. Actually, I guess a bit more like this, really, isn't it? Henderson's got the ball. What they'll do is quite interesting. They'll actually line up in a very narrow, just like a 2-2-2-2-4 like this. So as you can see, they allow a lot of space on the sides. I think the reason this is just they want to restrict this area as much as possible. What they'll do, let's say the ball comes to over here. They're very good at their press where they will press in basically and leave a shadow so that Shimodix would, for example, end up here. So then that means we still can't progress down there. And if we do continue to go down there, Hutchinson will already be, or whoever it is, will already be on their bike out to meet here. Not only this, but their fullbacks are pretty aggressive as well. If they do get a bit further up the pitch, it'll be Leif Davis who's potentially going to engage, and it's the same on the other side of the pitch as well. So let's say we forget about passing it here and we just lump it straight out there to Tyron Mitchell. That's when you'll see the fullback jumping straight up to meet Mitchell, who will then probably pass it back to the goalkeeper. And we'll be back to square one. That's basically what they try to do. They try to neglect this central space. But you're probably thinking, okay, well, why don't we just maybe, let's say, what if we drill a pass out here? So then he's got loads of space, but let's say the fullback hasn't had time to come and meet them. What happens then? Well, so like I said, they will move over to the side that the ball's on, but they'll make sure that this shadow here is covered, basically. So they will stop any central progression just using this method. When they do drop a bit deeper, you might see it. You might see them do something that we do. So if they kind of drop more into a mid sort of block, you'll see them doing a. Hang on a minute. Sorry, let me do that again. So when they drop into a low block, now this is when they had Twanzebe and they had Ogbene, and it did seem to depend on what team they were playing. But one of them would then drop here, so then they're basically like this wider player is watching whoever the wide player is over here. So sometimes in effect it ends up being like a 2, kind of similar to how we defend sometimes, in like a 5-2-3 sort of thing with like this sort of pentagon in the middle. Now the goal of that is to block any central progression. It stops diagonal. It helps stop diagonals as well, because you can easily block these passing lanes and so on and so forth. Now, let's say the ball is out wide, and let's say we've got someone overlapping. They will go 2 for 2. So if they do have 2 players there, they will go 2 for 2. Sorry. And then this is how they will defend in this kind of area. Now you're probably thinking, okay, but what if, say, they kind of just move there? Then what about we just move a player into this kind of area? That doesn't necessarily work, because what you'll then find is that the 2 defensive midfielders will come over and they will block that central progression in there, or at least make it very difficult. That is a very brief overview of how they defend. We'll cover them a bit more in the return fixture. But how do we kind of exploit this? Right. If I'm going to start where I'm already at. So first thing we can do is we can time these overlaps very well. I know we don't really tend to overlap very much, but let's say Eze's got the ball here. What you'll tend to find is, how do I explain this? So let's say you got this player here. There's a time where basically, sorry, actually, it makes more sense this way. So let's say Banks is watching Tyreek Mitchell and Eze's here and Clark's facing him. What you'll find is as they move, Banks won't be the one who then carries Mitch, who then faces Mitchell. What you'll get is at this point, they'll swap over. But in that brief period of time, whoever's overlapping will be able to get like a couple of steps ahead of these players, and they'll be able to cross it in. Now, one thing you have to say about their defending, and I do think this is partially because the games I watched, I don't think Greaves was playing. I think he was, maybe he was playing some of them, but they're really not very good at dealing with crosses into the box. So that's a situation that isn't very good for them. Now, another thing that
if only Mitchell could cross.
Well, if only Mitchell could cross. God. Now, let's say they are just a little bit out here. They will leave some space in behind here. Not loads of space, but in this particular situation, there will be space. So if we do have, say, Sheikh Decore, who we know is fantastic at pinging balls, to pause, if he can just time this run right, there has been a couple of occasions I've seen where teams have got in behind here and then they've had a good opportunity at goal. And obviously, if Ishmael Sarr's playing, very quick. Although I suppose speed isn't that necessary in this particular situation. But times it right, we could have a good chance. Going back to where we were over here in this situation. Okay, I know I said how Morsey or whoever it is will block that central line. What you'll find is they will still have a lot of room here because the other defensive midfielder will still be more on this side of the pitch. So although it'd be a more difficult pass, we can either make that difficult pass or try and find sort of like a wall pass for us to then play it there, and then we got some good space and pass and move, etc., etc. And then that will hopefully generate us some sort of opportunity. However, I think their biggest weakness is their defense in transition. So this is what I've been saving these stats. So their non-penalty expected goals per shot is 0.13, which is, I think, the second highest in the league, or joint second highest. And they also concede the most shots after their opponent has participated in a dribble. So that to me suggests that that's players running at them, which normally suggests it's some sort of transition. Now, one thing I did notice when they are defending transition, so let's say, I don't know, these players are all up here. Let's say, blah, blah, blah. Let's say it's something like this. What I did notice as well is that they're very aggressive in defending these transitions. So let's say we've caught them, I don't know, like over here in the midfield, let's say. Let's say that Lerma passes that ball to Eze. O'Shea or whoever it is will immediately come to face them. They won't back off. They'll immediately come to face them. So whilst that could potentially stop our counter-attack, it also means that we've got an opportunity, if we time it right, to then make runners off the ball. And then obviously once we're in this kind of position, that's great. That's fantastic. Now, how if we don't catch them in this area, how can we potentially? Because to be fair, they have the third lowest possession in the league, so it's unlikely maybe that we would catch them here that often because we'll probably be having the ball. How can you kind of play through them? Well, I think it's something that we did a lot last season. Can add it to the big list of things. That we're not doing as much this season, and that's 1-2s through the team. So let's say we've got the ball here, and if they're lining up in this weird sort of 4-2-2-2 thing. Let's say we do get the ball out here, and they do come out. They will be aggressive in how they do this. They'll make sure all these lanes are cut off, so there's no central progression. Well, I think all it kind of takes to break them down a little bit is, one, you have to time this right. So we have to be playing well. I'm not saying that their press is bad. Their press is very good. So we have to time this well. But if we do manage to say 1-2, then you're taking players out the game. And once you're taking players out the game, then we're effectively creating a transition in that particular period. So that was a very, very lightning quick overview of how they defend and how I think we can attack them. In short, we should generate transitions, try and find 1-2s where we can. In a low block, they are decent, so try and not have them in that position. And yeah, one other thing I will say is that Muric statistically has saved, is in the positives for his save rate. So he's not a crap goalkeeper. I don't think we should just be taking pot shots against him like we should against some other goalkeepers.
Mm-hmm. I do think that with Muric, you should press the keeper because he's not very good with his feet.
Yes, and that is actually something I forgot to say, so thank you for reminding me. One good way we could generate turnovers is when they do have the ball and they are building out the back. I have seen a few occasions where Muric did find himself a bit unstuck and they gave away some very, very silly goals. So that could also be a potential for us as well.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing I would say is sort of trying to counter their way of defending with one of our ways of attacking. I feel like very good movement off of the ball would just completely discount all of their shadow pressing.
No, absolutely. And
so if they're pressing, trying to cut out one passing lane, literally if someone makes a little bit of movement off the ball, unless they're literally running towards someone with eyes in the back of their head, they're not going to know where they are all the time. So if you've got good movement off the ball, try and cut these shadow lines, then effectively you're open. If you move out of the way of the player, you're open. So if we have good movement off the ball, which ironically we're not very good at this season, we can find ways through the lines, pick our way through the team, and hopefully have a nicely built up attack. But that can only happen if we have good movement off the ball and we are progressive with the ball. And certain players don't pass back all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the use of 1-2 passes, I think, will be very key in that because you're drawing players out. But then when you're drawing players out, if you're doing a 1-2, you're passing it back, you're moving, you're leaving that player behind. And that's when I would like to hope that we would generate. It's not a counter-attack because it's not a counter-attack, but a counter-attack-like situation, if that makes sense. But yeah, 100%. That's we'll do a more in-depth one on the home game. So for the tactical people out there.
Nikki, have you got any thoughts on attack, defense, any tactical questions or anything you want to add to it?
No, I think that was pretty spot on, especially with what you said about Muric. Pressuring him is the key to unlocking certain aspects of the attack for us. The way in which we can go about that, I feel, is still lacking because we still don't have, for some reason, we don't still have this attacking IQ that we saw last season. Case in point, that might just be because of the manner in which teams just down tools and whatnot, and with the Lycée. But this season, I think this is definitely the game where Glasgow needs to say, look, we need goals. This is the time to get them. Do this. So hope Glasgow's watching.
Let's go into some comments. Jace says Glasgow was talking in the press conference. Breaking news. You see, this is the kind of tactical analysis and the kind of anything analysis that you come to Eagle-Eyed Football to get.
Of course.
Nikki, I love the passion from the seven-a-side. Dude, the passion was beautiful. Oh yeah, Nikki, did
Hello.
you tie your shoelaces before playing the game?
I did.
Are you sure?
I have no defense, okay? I have no defense.
Talk us through El Clasico.
El Clasico.
El Clasico.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I was really looking forward to seeing it. on camera, but unfortunately, it didn't. It wasn't on the footage.
It was.
No, Nate getting challenged was.
No, you was as well.
Oh, okay.
Bro didn't watch it.
No, I didn't watch it. It's been a while since I've watched it. I've not watched it as much as you and Rich have.
It came out like 2 weeks ago, big man.
Yeah, and you two have watched it probably a lot more than I have.
Well, obviously, I edited it.
Yeah, Nate just decided. I think he got me back because I was laughing when he got just taken out. You saw my reaction. When he went down early in that 7-a-side, I was dying of laughter. And I think he definitely heard me there. So he needed to correct that.
Mhm. But when we slow it down, we can just have a little bit of a look. It looks like you threw yourself to the floor, mate.
Do you know what I think it is? I think I got my left foot and my right foot mixed up.
Both feet were planted, and then you just threw yourself to the floor.
Hey man, I'm trying to get the team an advantage here.
There's no ref. There's only a cameraman.
There will be a ref this year.
Real Elio says, would Nketiah for Star work in his formation? Not that I want it to happen, but it would be great to see 2 strikers up top again. I feel like that would be more suited to Nketiah, but I do believe that the raw pace of Sarr would make Sarr, I guess, he has a little bit more utility behind him because he's got that extra strength and that extra speed behind him.
Right. I've got to hear me out, right? Hear me out here, okay?
It depends how bad this one is.
No. I think the intention with Nketiah wasn't because they wanted him to play in next to Mateta or even as the right attacking midfielder. I think they expected Mateta to have bids and he's going to be his replacement. / they don't think Mateta will sign a new contract because he's only got 2 years left.
You could see it happening.
So I'm wondering whether maybe that's the thinking there, and he was never intended to be where he is.
Potentially, or it could just be as simple as Mateta's going next year, and we're getting Nketiah ingrained in the club for a year before he becomes a main man. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No Lerma on the bench. He is on the bench for what I did. I just removed him and put Decore in there. JC is on the Ray and Nephews tonight. I'm not because I'm working tomorrow and I'm going to the game tomorrow, so I don't want to be plastered before I even try and get on the train. High shot conversion, high shots, low conversion rate. Presumably it's Crystal Palace derby. Big up Sean. Crazy stat. Man U have had 3 managers since Man City last one.
I'd think about it being like, yeah, they have, yeah.
Set pieces. Not been impressed with Jack Clark, to be honest. Not done much from what I've seen. He's a great player. He's just getting used to the Premier League. He's still very, very young. Big up Animal. Doubt City would let one slip like that. Big up Kevin. Sacked it off. Getting my phone. The traffic was a madness. Okay. Bro did not watch the footage. Who fell into a wall? Well, Colin, you're gonna have to go back and watch and find out. Man, them kick ball. The Nicky charge run was my highlight.
Oh, that was yeah. Watching that, I'm thinking, wow, I really did. Do you know what the funny thing is? Actually, El Clasico. Actually, I think I've been thinking it back. El Clasico was the point that my knee has gone.
Oh, so you injured yourself by throwing yourself to the floor. Uh-huh.
No, play the story. Play the story.
Nate's fall.
I wouldn't call it a fall. It was a body.
That was a violation. It was a violation.
It was a violation. Like, you know, it's a violation when on a five-a-side pitch, someone's got, "Are you okay?"
Normally, you just laugh at each other, but that was a serious. Are you good, big man?
And his glasses were broken as well after that, which made it even funnier for me.
None of our big players are signing new deals, hence why we're looking at big players in January. Let's get a replay of Nate's fall. I don't have it on me.
We need to get.
We will be there. The dog's saying there should have been VAR. I was calling for VAR. If you watch the video, I was going like this to the camera for about 5 minutes, and everyone aired me, but it's okay. No, I watched it already. It was funny. Just can't remember the moment and who it was again. Yeah, it was Nate. Took it like a champ, though.
We'll have pause.
No, you're disgusting.
We'll have a referee this year, though.
Why? Because you're injured.
I've got surgery. I've got an operation like 2 weeks into May. So yeah, I'm not allowed to do nothing.
Streets are saying that Nicky could have gone pro if he didn't get that knee injury.
Yeah.
Nicky, after everything we've spoken about today, Ipswich quite good attacking, they're quite good defensive, good manager, and the tactics that you've just seen. What would be your score prediction for this game?
2-2.
I think 5-0 Palace. I'm joking. I don't know really. Thing is, I want to be optimistic and say, you know, we're going to win 2-0 or something. But I'm not optimistic, and we're doing the vlog tomorrow, so we're not going to win. So
the last time we won and we did a vlog was last season, Wolves away.
Well, 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. I'm going to be the most confident here, and I'm going to say we're going to S-House a 1-0 win. And I'll tell you why. I think that we can hold them off defensively, because I think our defense is very good when it wants to be, and we have defended very well, and especially with Decore back, Lerma as well. I think we've got a very good back line. The only thing is, are we going to score? I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, one thing, right, and this is, as I said, this is what I do on my annual leave. I update spreadsheets. So one thing I noticed, right, and I don't know, this isn't really anything statistically different, I guess, but like, so you know how I said yesterday how we're like the second worst team at converting chances, and in terms of XG, we are the worst, and only one team's actually ever been worse than us. Well, it appears that the majority of that is in the home games, because in the away games, we're actually on par for our XG.
Oh, really?
Both for and against. Roughly speaking, yeah, like within about one, yeah. Which is
better away from home.
In terms of finishing, much better away from home. But is that because we create less? I don't know. But yeah, definitely away for whatever reason. We seem to finish our chances better than at home. Which I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to be confident. I haven't been to Ipswich. I think it's going to be a good day out anyway. Fortunately, we probably won't be able, because I'm working, probably won't be able to get there in time to go to the pub, but I'm sure we'll have a beer in the ground. I'll try my absolute hardest to get the vlog out as quickly as I can. But most likely it'll be about 2 or 3 in the morning, UK time. So you Americans, you lucky people. But for us, watch it on your lunch break or watch it on your way to work.
Rich is saying, sack it off. Maybe we should not call it a vlog.
What would you call it?
Or pretend it's not an away day vlog. Maybe we could pretend we're just going on a day out to Suffolk.
Yeah. Mandem in Suffolk. We could do a train review.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't got Nate. You can't do a train review. You haven't got Nate. You have got JC, but you ain't got Nate. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we could film ourselves talking about the weather for like 20 minutes.
Hey Neymar, yeah, sunny innit? I think our animal agrees with me. I think our defense stops them. Nicky telling his grandkids about his prime. Nicky be like, this one
This
time,
one time I saw that was.
Dan will get plastered before kickoff.
Oh no, those days are done.
Yeah, I need to talk to Dan about the alcohol that's going to be happening on the way there. We're watching the pub after work. All sorted now. Do you sell Kamada in January? I think you try and shoot him in January and hope for the best.
Oh, Jesus.
Joking.
Wow.
I think
Alright.
Kamada will be okay as a make weight player. I think.
Hello, is that police?
I knew he was a Fed. I knew he was a Fed. I knew he was a Fed.
Hello, Childline?
Need to do the skill drift outside the stadium. We need a McDonald's review so we can win. I don't think there's time to have McDonald's. That's the problem. Is there one in Liverpool Street?
That's why
Yes.
I'm just going to check that now.
There is one in Liverpool Street. It's right.
So
before
while
you-
Dan gets his ticket, I'll grab a Big Mac and then we will.
No, I'll get my. Well, will we have time though?
I don't know.
Because I might just get my ticket on the way. To be honest, as in my train ticket, I have got a ticket to the game.
Or you can do skill tutorials. Maybe that would be the forfeit for the loser of Eagle Eyed Football to do
tutorial.
like you know how the F2 do their skills. They've got to do like one of those videos. Schlupp is Kamara back up to Schlupp. Can we get a replay of Nicky falling? It's cracking me up. Why Liverpool Street's not in Liverpool, you know.
Weirdly, it doesn't even go to Liverpool either, so I don't know why it's called Liverpool Street.
There's defo a Burger King at.
Yeah, I'll go hungry.
We might switch it up.
Well, I was going to say
there is both.
If
There's
you
both
want,
the Burger King and McDonald's.
If you want me to get whilst I'm getting stuff, I can also get a meal deal, and we can rate our meal deals.
What shop are you getting it from? Because I'm gonna get my meal deal when I'm at lunch at work. So I'm gonna if I get a co-op meal deal and you get a something else meal deal, then we can have like a tier list of like the best shops to get meal deals from. Because I know co-op's near the bottom. That's all I'm saying. The meal deals
I
dead.
think it's the most expensive as well.
It's £5 for a meal deal.
I can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
What? They're not Brexit.
There's nothing wrong with a meal deal. There's no woke nonsense in a meal deal. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. There are some woke things you can get.
Oh, there are some stinkers.
There are some orders
like
that are
sushi.
absolute... No.
Well, I mean, I like sushi, but in a meal deal,
it's a meal deal. No way.
That is woke.
It's got.
I would say
it's got to be a sandwich or a wrap. Like,
what are those?
Definitely.
All those smoothie things? Those are woke.
These are
that's it.
It's £3. The drink itself is £3, but you can get it in the meal deal. So it's like
no brainer. To be fair, Rich, I do agree. A meal deal in the evening for dinner, that is peak. That is very peak.
It is peak.
It's
a long day.
It is a long day.
It's a long day.
When you've had 2 meal deals in a day, it's not ideal.
You know what I'm gonna do when I get back to where I am? I'm getting a kebab. I do not care. Editing and kebab, amazing.
Kebab.
I know. I only say that because that's how Cartman says kebab.
So I had to put that up.
Yeah, barrel of laughs. Am I right, Dan?
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Guys, thank you very much for watching this very disjointed preview. We previewed, we tactigled, and we have got Crystal Palace at home to Stockport in the FA Cup sometime. Don't know the time, but it is what it is. Dan, Nikki, anything else you want to say?
Up the Palace. That's all I
Yeah.
got to say because I hope we win.
Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah.
The
I can go.
going. The stream is still going, guys.
Why?
Yeah.